Why do some riders glide effortlessly while others look awkward and shaky? It's not magic, it's skill. Today, we're breaking down 11 common mistakes that not only make you look like a beginner, but also mess with your bike's performance. Forget looking cool. This is about riding right. Let's go. Starting off with a classic mistake, feet dragging after takeoff. It might feel safer, but it actually kills your balance and makes you look hesitant. It's all about physics. A moving motorcycle is stable because of gyroscopic force. The wheels, spinning fast, act like gyroscopes. Gyroscopes resist changes in their orientation. This means the faster the wheels spin, the more the bike wants to stay upright. Dragging your feet disrupts stability and adds drag. Plus, your feet belong on the pegs for shifting gears and braking. Get them up fast. Get those feet up as soon as the bike is rolling. It's not just about looks, it's about control. Now, just a minute before we move on, you know what would be a bigger mistake than this? Not subscribing to our channel, because you're gonna miss out on so much exclusive content and knowledge that our viewers get. And now from feet, let's shift our focus to your hands, and specifically, that clutch lever. Our second mistake is a subtle one, keeping your fingers hovering over the clutch lever all the time. It feels like you're ready for anything, but it can actually cause problems. The clutch is a connection between your engine and your rear wheel. When you pull the lever in, you disconnect the engine's power. When you release the lever completely, you fully connect the power. This full connection is key. Resting your fingers on the clutch? Bad habit. Even light pressure partially disengages it, reducing power. It's like sprinting with one foot off the ground. You're slowing yourself down. Keep your fingers off the clutch lever unless you're actively shifting gears. Let the engine and wheel connect fully for maximum power and control. Now that we've covered the clutch, let's discuss how to stop your bike correctly. This is a big one, and it can be dangerous, relying solely on the rear brake pedal. It's tempting, especially if you're nervous about the front brake, but you're missing out on most of your stopping power. Front brake equals up to 90% of your stopping power. Why? Braking shifts weight forward, increasing grip on the front tire while making the rear tire lighter. More grip equals better stopping. Simple. If you only use the rear brake, that rear tire is much more likely to lock up and skid. A skidding tire has very little stopping power. Using both brakes, with a focus on the front, is the most effective way to stop quickly and safely. The front brake lever usually requires the force of all four fingers to get optimal braking. But wait, if the front brake is so powerful, won't you just flip over the handlebars? That's a common fear, but it's mostly a myth. Let's see why. The key is progressive braking. You don't just grab the front brake lever with all your might. You squeeze it smoothly and gradually, increasing the pressure as the weight shifts forward. Modern bikes are also designed to prevent easy flipping. The front forks and suspension absorb some of the braking force, and the bike's geometry is designed to keep the center of gravity low. Practice using both brakes together, smoothly and progressively. From stopping, let's talk about what not to do when you're already stopped. It might seem relaxing to click into neutral at a red light, giving your left hand a break, but it's a habit that can put you in a vulnerable position. Think about it. Sitting in neutral at stops? Bad move. If a car isn't stopping behind you, you need to go now. But in neutral, you waste seconds shifting before you can move. Stay in first gear, ready to escape. Staying in first gear, with the clutch lever pulled in, is like being a runner in the starting blocks. You're ready to go instantly. The engine is connected to the rear wheel, just waiting for you to release the clutch. It's a much safer position to be in. Speaking of safety, let's discuss something that should be obvious but often isn't. Riding in shorts, a t-shirt, and sneakers? That's not just a fashion fail, it's a recipe for serious injury. Proper riding gear is your armor. A helmet is non-negotiable, but gloves, a riding jacket with armor, riding pants, and sturdy boots are also essential. They protect you from road rash in a slide, and the armor helps absorb impact. Materials matter. Leather and specialized textiles like Cordura are designed to resist abrasion. They won't shred like regular clothing if you hit the pavement. Wearing the right gear shows you're serious about riding and prioritizing safety. Now, let's move from safety to a skill that separates experienced riders from beginners: slow speed control. We've all seen it. Someone sitting on their motorcycle, paddling along with their feet like a kid on a scooter. That's duck walking, and it's a sign of a rider who's uncomfortable with low-speed maneuvers. The secret to slow-speed control is a combination of three things: throttle, clutch, and rear brake. You use the throttle to provide a small, constant amount of power. You use the clutch, in the friction zone, to control how much of that power goes to the rear wheel. And you use the rear brake to modulate your speed and prevent stalling. It's like balancing on a tightrope. You're making constant small adjustments to keep the bike upright and moving smoothly. Duck walking is unnecessary, and it looks awkward. Practice the throttle clutch brake technique in an empty parking lot. It's a fundamental skill. From parking lots, let's head out to the open road and talk about corners. Running wide in a corner, drifting into the oncoming lane, is a terrifying mistake. It often happens when a rider enters a turn too fast and panics. Good cornering is all about technique. First, look through the turn. Focus your eyes on where you want to go, not on the road directly in front of you. Second, lean with the bike. Keep your body in line with the motorcycle, or even slightly inside the turn. Third, maintain a steady throttle. If you enter a turn too hot, chopping the throttle or grabbing the brakes will upset the bike's balance. This can cause it to stand up and run wide, straight into the path of oncoming traffic. Smooth, controlled inputs are key. You might be wondering, how much should you lean? Does it depend on the bike? Let's delve into that. The amount of lean angle depends on the speed and sharpness of the turn. The faster you go, and the tighter the turn, the more you need to lean. Different bikes have different lean angle limits, determined by their design like ground clearance, tire profile, etc. Sport bikes are designed for deep lean angles, while cruisers have more limited lean angles. But the principle remains the same. Lean with the bike, not against it. Speaking of leaning, let's address a common mistake related to body position. This one's subtle, but it affects your control. Leaning away from the turn, trying to counterbalance the bike. New riders sometimes do this instinctively, but it's the wrong approach. Think about riding a bicycle. When you turn, you naturally lean into the turn, right? It's the same on a motorcycle. Leaning with the bike, or slightly inside, helps lower your center of gravity and keeps the tires planted firmly on the road. Leaning away from the turn makes the bike feel unstable and reduces your control. It's like trying to steer a bicycle by leaning your body in the opposite direction. It just doesn't work. From body positioning, let's talk about where your eyes should be focused. This is a strange but crucial point. Your bike follows your eyes. Stare at an obstacle, you'll hit it. It's called target fixation. Solution? Focus on where you want to go. Your motorcycle tends to go where you're looking. It's a subconscious connection between your eyes, your brain, and your hands. If you focus on the obstacle, your brain will steer you towards it, even if you're trying to avoid it. The solution? Look past the obstacle. Focus on the clear path you want to take. Your brain will automatically make the necessary adjustments to steer you around the danger. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's a proven technique. So, how does target fixation actually work? Well, it's neuroscience. Your brain processes visual information incredibly quickly. When you fixate on an object, your brain starts calculating its position, speed, and trajectory relative to you. This information is then used to control your muscles, including the muscles in your hands that control the steering. If you're constantly updating your brain with the position of the obstacle, your brain will steer you towards it. But if you're updating your brain with the position of the clear path, your brain will steer you there instead. And now, let's talk about the throttle. It seems like a display of power. Almost everyone has done this at least once, but in reality, it serves no purpose. Engines are designed to run best at a certain speed, called RPMs. Revving the engine high when you're not moving puts extra wear on parts like the rings, valves, and bearings. It's like making your heart beat super fast for no reason. High engine speeds without movement also cause uneven heating. This can stress the engine. And revving uses extra fuel. The engine injects more fuel when you rev, and much of it is wasted since you're not actually moving. From one engine-related mistake to another. Our last mistake is all about smoothness. Jerky, on-off throttle control. Throttle control equals stability. Jerky inputs upset balance, especially in corners. Treat your throttle like a volume knob, smooth, steady, controlled. You want to roll it on and off gradually, not snap it open and closed. Sudden throttle changes upset the bike's balance. Abruptly, opening the throttle can cause the rear wheel to spin, especially on a powerful bike. Abruptly closing the throttle can cause the bike to lurch forward, shifting weight unexpectedly. Smooth, controlled inputs are the key to a smooth, controlled ride. There you have it. 11 mistakes that not only make you look inexperienced, but also affect your ride. Recognize them. Fix them. Ride smarter. Remember, everyone makes mistakes when they're learning. The important thing is to recognize these habits, understand why they're wrong, and practice the correct techniques. It's not about looking cool, it's about riding safely, confidently, and enjoying the ride. So, get out there, practice, and ditch those newbie moves. No other common mistakes? Drop them in the comments. And if this helped, hit like and subscribe for more pro riding tips.